Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Time Out with Abbie. Today we're going to be speaking to our dear teenagers and young adults on teenage choices and conscience. To start with, teenage years are full of challenges, excitement and mistakes. And yes, sometimes those mistakes make your parents cry or worry. But the good news is that you can make better choices and turn things around. One thing you as a teenager or young adult should understand is the peculiarities of the age you are in. Being a teenager, most especially, is like being in the middle of a storm. Your mind, emotions, and independence are all growing at once. You want freedom, yes, friends, and you want to have some fun. But sometimes that leads to choices that hurt you or the people who really love you. The book of Proverbs 22 and verse 6 always reminds us, train up a child in the way he should go, and we know the rest of it. But you as a teenager or young adult should not forget that your choices shape your future. Mistakes happen, my dear teenagers, but you can change because it's not the end of the world. If you look at the story of the prodigal son, I'm sure we remember the story. He made bad choices, hurt his family, but came back and was forgiven. I can also remember a story of a mom of a young teenage pretty girl who told me this story about 3 years ago here in the UK. She said her daughter became so unruly and would not listen to any counsel. One day she got back home from work and discovered that she had packed few of her things and was nowhere to be found. How heartbreaking. I remember she was in tears, and I also got emotional because she had to sum up the courage to be able to tell me her predicament. Because I always noticed at work that she was always looking sometimes confused, but also laughing so much at the things that weren't too funny. My spirit was a bit troubled about her behavior, and one day I decided to ask if she was all right. You know, sometimes I discovered over the years that when you see people who laugh so much or who laugh out so hard, behind those laughter or behind those smiles are hidden troubles that one needs to find out, just in case you can lend a hand of help. Then she said to me that her daughter had left home since age 16 when she finished high school and was nowhere to be found. She looked everywhere. It was a trying time for her. She had suffered so much as a single parent to care for both of them, herself and her younger brother, who was doing well. She said she cried almost every other night for her daughter, who was alive but lost. She later discovered she was living with some friends who doesn't work, and they will always go to parties, they drink, go about smoking, and she refused to return home. I kept encouraging her and kept praying with her and encouraged her to pray for the spirit of that girl, that one day she would return home, and told her that she has to get her life together, take care of the young boy that was with her, and one day she will realize herself. One day she called me after about 2 years that her daughter rang and was apologizing for her behavior and was crying so much over the phone and that she wants to come back home. Long story short, what would a mother do than to receive her daughter with joy and being grateful to God for returning her? Now she came back home and was recounting the lost years and her terrible decisions and was determined to be a better lady at 21. She left home since age 16. Now she has enrolled back into college and was working side by side, and her mom is very happy. Everyone makes mistakes. Even your favorite heroes in the Bible also did. So why do teenagers make errors? Why? Number one, testing limit. Sneaking out or lying about where you're going to. We've done it at one point or the other. Do you understand? Every teenager has made all those choices. Yours might not be sneaking out. Yours might not be lying about. As a teenager, you must have done something that you would know that, oh, if my parents should find out, you'll be in trouble. Or when they found out, you were in big mess. Especially those of us that are coming from Africa. Another point is peer pressure. Joining in gossip, social media, challenges, or even skipping school because everyone else is doing it. I remember a very funny story now, and I'm going to share it. One day I was in GS3. I think I was about 13 or so, I was in GS3 and I can't remember what we did, but some of us were given suspension to go home. And I remember, so it was not even midday, it was about 10 or 11 in the morning. We were asked to go back home because we did something and we were supposed to be home for 2 weeks or so. It was a suspension. I can't remember. I'm sure that my friend that the thing happened with, if she's watching this video, she would remember that incident. She cannot even forget. So when we left school, it was like, it was so early. So she now said, she wanted to go and greet her grandmother in a place, they call the place Orile in Lagos. And that we can go together. And I said, okay, that there's nothing I'm even going to do at home. And I decided to go with her. At that time, anyone that knows Lagos well, there's a place you get to Ojulegba first before you get to Body Bus to really. At that time, I didn't even know where Ojulegba was. I was living before Ojulegba, but I don't usually go out. And I was living with my grandma. And we had to take the bus and we went to Orile. I did not tell anybody before going there. I was supposed to go back home, but I didn't. I went with my friend to Orile. And I think maybe traffic held us down. We got back home later in the evening. Before I returned home, some of my friends who knew that I was given suspension decided to come and say hello to me on their way home. Just to sorry about what happened. And when they got to my house, I wasn't there. And those friends of mine, I'm sure they will also watch this video. They couldn't even when they got home and said, we are looking for Kafayat, which happens to be my Muslim name. And they said, Kafayat, she's not back from school. And they couldn't just keep quiet and say, okay, maybe we missed her on the way And they said, she's not back from school. And that's how they spilled everything and said, she was given suspension and she had left so time, she should be back or something like that. And that was how I landed into a deep pot of soup. By the time I returned in the evening, I remember one of my big sisters then, she was home and she now said, Kafayat, how was school today? I said, it was fine, school was good, this and that. I said, okay. And after a while, I think she didn't even say anything. When my mom got back, she told my mom that this and this and this had happened and all that, and that I left school since morning and I didn't return home. Oh my God. Then I know that I had been casted. And my mom, anybody that knows my mom knows that she's not gentle. She is not, especially with me, because I was the firstborn. It's like she called me and she brought out this massive cane that she's going to finish me. Let me not use that word that she used. That I should tell her where I went to, this and that. And she started flogging me seriously. Then, of course, now when you see, there's some kind of cane that you see back then that you won't even, nobody will tell you to tell the truth. Because by the time one lands on your head, you start spilling the truth. Then I said, no, I went to Orile. I went to Mama said, what? Orile? Where do you know it's Orile? Why did you go to Orile? With who? I said, I went with my friend. What's her name? Her name is Omololu. Her name is Omololu. He said, to do what? We went to see her grandma. I couldn't tell her all we went to see her grandma, this and that. You can call the grandma. Grandma will tell you that we came. It was I cannot forget that. The cane, the kind of beating I got that day, would never make me forget what happened. Look at how many years back. Well over 30 years. And I can still remember as though it was yesterday. She beat the hell out of my life. And of course, eventually she went back to the school and met Omololu, who took her daughter to Orile, and it was a mess because Omololu's mom too came to school and both moms met. Oh my goodness. Let me not tell you the whole story. It was a mess. That is not the end of the story. Anytime we walk past any bus stop, especially that Ojulegba, and you see all those, Nigerians will know it, especially Lagosians, and all those bus conductors will start calling names of where they are going to. And they will say, Orile, 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 Orile. My mom will say, Auntie Orile, oh yeah, enter. He was anything I do in the house, he said, Auntie Orile, go and do it. Any little thing, Auntie Orile, go. I'm sure my mom, if she watches this video, she will just be laughing. She frustrated my life with that Orile. I can't even remember when she stopped calling me Orile. Any day, anytime, she will use that Orile to call me, Auntie Orile, oh yeah, do this. Those are part of the things I also did as a teenager. But looking back, you now realize that sometimes some of our, what our parents tells us, it might just be the approach back then, which is a lot different now. The approach back then might not be the right approach, but somehow she saved me from making other bad choices. Because if I remember the kind of flogging, the kind of cane, the kind of beating I received that day, I won't want to go to another location without telling her that, oh, mommy, I'm going to this place. It never happened till I finished secondary school. So we all make mistakes. So another reason why teenagers make errors is what we call strong emotions. That means losing temper with friends or with parents or with family members, not thinking about consequences, or overspending on things you don't even need. You would definitely make error. Romans 3:23 says, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, or falling short of the glory of God. Making mistakes doesn't make you bad. It makes you human. So how do we turn things around as a teenager or as a young adult? Number one, pause and think. Will this choice hurt or help me or any member of my family? Before sharing something online, think about how it could hurt someone or embarrass you or embarrass your family. Talk to someone or a parent or a mentor or God in prayer when you are confused. If you ever feel pressured to join friends in something risky, call someone you trust and ask for advice. Always try and fix your mistakes, admit them and take action. Take responsibility. For example, you accidentally broke something in your home, or you let your parents down. Apologize and find a way to make it right. Do small things every day. Respect, honesty, and kindness. Do things in the house for your parents without even being told. Encourage a friend, encourage a sibling, send messages to loved ones. And just try as much as possible to make yourself happy. When you make errors as a teenager or a young adult, always know at the back of your mind that that is not the end of the world. The more you keep it away, the more you hurt yourself, the more you hurt all those who love you, and eventually you might get lost. But going back to your parents and own up to your errors and say, this is what I have done. Please help me out. Then you will see a way out. Remember Joseph's brothers. They did wrong, felt sorry, and made it right. Even David made mistakes, but found forgiveness. You can also find forgiveness too. Do you realize your conscience matters a lot? Ask yourself, am I bringing joy or pain to those who love me? Do I love to see my parents suffer because of me? Am I acting in the way God wants me to? What one thing can I do today to be better? Your choices define you, not your mistakes. But how you respond matters a lot. Choose love, choose respect, choose the happiness of your parents and yourself, and choose God. My dear teenagers, teenage life is tough, but it is also full of potentials, depending on how you use yours. Make choices that make your parents proud, and more importantly, make your heart proud and make God proud. This is Time Out with Abbie, where we reflect, we realign, and we rise together. God bless you.